Keep going. Yeah, you should all be able to see my screen. We are on expected results. So right at the very beginning, we went through some of the expectations of the Leadership Academy, and we talked about those of native English speakers, that being a native language. I am one of them, which means that I might speak pretty quickly. If I am speaking too quickly, or if things aren't making sense, please just raise your hand, please just shout at me, whatever it is, and I will slow down and make sure everybody understands. Okay, so we're going to look at expected results for the next 15 to 20 minutes before we finish. So we've been through our goal, we've been through our objectives, we've been through our activities, all in amazing great detail. Thank you, Tina. And now we're coming on to really, well, maybe that's not the best way to put it, but really, why are we doing this? What are we aiming for? What is the end result? What are we expecting? So that's the bit that we're looking at, expected results. Okay, so let's make sure this works. So what do we mean by expected results? So wording that is commonly used is the impact of your projects, the changes that will happen thanks to your projects being implemented. So if we want to eliminate poverty, what is the impact of that? What is the difference that is going to come of that? And then I found this quote on some random websites that I felt fits quite well. Impact is the effect that the activity carried out and its results have on people, systems, organizations, and more. So it is the end result, almost like the why are you doing what you're doing and what are you actually expecting to come from it. Am I making sense so far? Yes? Oh. Nice one. Okay, good. I'm working off two screens, so you may see me looking up and down fairly often. Okay, so the impact on people and organizations, staff, volunteers, and community. So when you look at the impact of your projects, you can break it down into these four groups. What is the difference? What is the impact? What is the expected result on people, on the staff and volunteers involved, on the organization, like YMCA, your local or your national, even maybe the international YMCA, and even the community. What is the expected result? How is your project going to make a difference? And what is that difference going to be for these different groups? So when we look at people, for example, we have got the expected result that you can have on people is normally around their attitude. So you're making a change in their attitudes, their beliefs, their level of knowledge, their education, or their behaviors. So I don't know, it's maybe, for example, if your goal is to eliminate poverty in your local community. So let's take, I'm going to, my project is to eliminate, or my goal is to eliminate poverty in Tayside, which is an area of Perth, area of Scotland that I live in. The expected results on people could be that people are educated on the level of on poverty within their local area within Tayside. So they understand that they've maybe changed their beliefs on poverty. They've maybe got a different attitude that they're giving more in order to help each other. It's similar for staff and volunteers. So again, staff and volunteers, their knowledge may change, their beliefs may change, they may be equipped more, so they've got extra tools, they've got equipment, or the right tools, the right equipment in order to deliver the goal. And their confidence level may increase as well. So that's the expected result, that's the difference on those. For organizations, if let's say we take the YMCA, it could have an impact on it financially. So either the YMCA is doing better financially, in some cases maybe doing worse financially. There's structural change. Now, I'm not talking about the bricks and the mortar. I'm talking about like how the organization is made up, the leadership, and I guess that ties into the governance. So there's a structural and governance change is the impact on that. The expected result happens there. And again, because within organizations, at the heart of them is people like you and I, there's going to be a change in attitudes as well, or there could be a change in attitudes. And community, you've got it there. Law, policy, maybe an expected result, an impact thanks to your projects. More spaces are created, or maybe less spaces are created, whatever it may be. Different networks and partnerships may come about, and different opportunities may come about thanks to your project. So that's a kind of a headline breakdown of the impact, the expected results, the difference on these different groups of these different areas, these 4 different areas. So moving on then, if you've got any questions, just let me know. I do have the chat up in front of me, but I may miss stuff. So people do help me if I am going too quickly. So hands up, say yes, whatever, if you recognize this picture. Yep, Adam does. Yep, a few people do. Okay, so just for ease, I will explain it. This is, I thought actually when I was developing this, a really good example of a project that ties in with expected results. So people that like Amazon Prime and watch that show that this guy's in, or just watch movies, will recognize that this is a guy called John Krasinski, I think is how you pronounce his surname. And he, as well as I guess his wife and others, in March this year, recognized, like all of us did, that the world was very different. It was filled with negativity. So if you guys remember, January, Australia was on fire. So we thought that's pretty bad. February, we thought that Iran and America were going to cause World War III. So the rest of the world were thinking, wow, that's more bad news. We're pretty scared what's going on here. How can it get any worse? Well, lo and behold, March comes along and coronavirus says hello and we're all put into lockdown. So there was a lot of negativity that, that we were just surrounded with. And we are bombarded every single day, every single morning with this negativity. So John Krasinski and his team, I should say, which probably included his wife, decided to create an online space where he would just create a show called Some Good News, SGN. And this was a show that he literally just went on YouTube, recorded a video for, I think it was like 18 to 20 minutes each week, and just simply showed people different positive news that happen around the world. So he was really counteracting all of the negativity that people were seeing through the news, thanks to just how the year had started and how it was going. So during lockdown, this was a project that came about. After recognizing a need, as we have looked at a problem, this project came about and the goal came about there. So the expected results with Some Good News was that there is an online community space for people to connect, learn, and share with one another. People voice that they are less isolated, depressed, and anxious. So these are the things that we hope to see from this project, Some Good News. And the staff and volunteers involved have an increased belief in themselves that they can be change makers for the better. So I don't actually know, because I didn't obviously speak or were involved in Some Good News, but from looking at what's happened in the months that this was running and tying it into the expected results, these are some of the expected results that I think would have been put on paper if they were doing the same exercise as what we are doing. Does that make sense so far? Yeah, some of the difference. Okay. You'll be impressed at how I managed to tie this in all together. I think I'm fairly proud of this. So anyway, Okay, so we're going to look at developing our own expected results, our own impacts. So here's an example of a goal, which we all very much know: to equip and empower YMCA Mars to eliminate poverty for all. So teach backwards, equip and empower is probably some of the words that Tina mentioned in her presentation. We're using it in the goal here. So equip and empower YMCA Mars to eliminate poverty for all. So when we break it down into the 4 different groups, what is the expected result or the impact for the alien young people at YMCA Mars? What is the impact for the alien staff and volunteers at YMCA Mars? What is the impact for YMCA Mars as an NGO, which is a non-governmental organization or a charity? And what is the impact or the expected results for the community for this? So this is what I'm looking for here is a quick kind of 5 minutes, if we can, maybe even 7, depending on how kind Olga is going to be with time with us.
6.
6, okay. I think that's a compromise. We're going to put you guys into 2 groups. And
or 4, you told 4, no?
Oh.
2, okay, yeah,
4,
sorry.
2 is fine, actually, just because it'll be easier to feedback, I think. And what I'm looking for is 1 or 2 expected results based off this goal. So what do you think would be the expected result for the alien young people, the staff and volunteers, for the YMCA itself, and for the community? So I'm going to quickly put the goal in the chat so you guys can see it once we go into our rooms. And then you can discuss in your groups what you think the expected results are going to be. So 2 seconds. And my spelling is so bad. Eliminate poverty with an O. 2 seconds, sorry. There we go. Okay. So that is the goal. And you need to look at it for young people, YMCA Mars, staff, volunteers, and the community. All make sense? Any questions? No? Okay. So by the magic of Zoom breakout rooms, we are going to move into our small groups.
2 groups, and here we go.
Okay. People are coming back, which is good. Okay. 2 seconds. I cannot see the chat. Okay, can people hear me? Can they see my screen? Yeah.
We can hear you. We do not see your screen.
Oh, do you not? Okay. Probably because I need to share screen, so that would have helped. There you go. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen just now then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I realized very quickly that when we went into the breakout rooms, one group was very lucky because they had me, and one group probably wasn't so lucky because it didn't have the presentation and they didn't have the resources. But ultimately, how did people find that? Did you manage to get some ideas of expected results? And if so, can somebody feedback on, let's say, one or two for the community, for young people, for Mars, as in YMCA Mars? Any ideas? Any ideas? Radio silence. Okay, I'm not sure if anything's come up in the chat either. But yeah, so some of the ones that we were looking at in our group is actually goes along these lines. So these are some examples that came up and ones that that could apply. So the difference, the impact on these different groups of people. Okay. So very quickly on the young people, increased knowledge on poverty on planet Mars. So it's the education part of it all. So if I go back, you can see knowledge, education for young people, inspired and adequately equipped to implement radical social change. Radical social change is just as it sounds. In order to do something as big as eliminate poverty, you're probably going to need a radical social change. A big change is what that means in a lot of people. For staff and volunteers, they're educated, equipped to support a goal. They're able to confidently deliver sessions on tackling poverty, whether that's delivering sessions to the community or to young people. For YMCA Mars as an organization, attitudes and leadership change to prioritize tackling poverty. The YMCA is financially equipped to support tackling poverty. And one of the good ones that we had in my group was that the reputation of YMCA Mars would change because they've managed to work towards achieving this goal. We'll come on to if that was an expected result or if that was an unexpected result, because remember, achieving our goals is sometimes doesn't happen because it's so vast and it's so broad, but it's still worth trying. So we'll come on to things that may happen even though we don't expect it. Unexpected results for the community, members share knowledge with one another on how to tackle poverty, and local free food hubs are created for those most in need. So these are the things that could happen because of your project, because of your goal. It's as simple as just thinking, what am I actually doing? What is the difference? What do I expect to happen? Make sense so far? Yeah. So when you're thinking about your goals and your projects, we're going to come on to the homework, obviously, after this. This is some of the stuff we'll probably be touching on. Why are you actually doing it? What are you expecting? So on the other hand, there's going to be things that could happen that you may not expect. So remember to monitor, measure, track your project and notice even the unexpected results, both the good ones and the bad ones. So unexpected results are like the effects of your project. So did your project have an impact on others that you didn't expect it to have an impact on? So for some of the more native English speakers, it is the knock-on effect. So this happened, and this happened, and then this happened, which I actually wasn't expecting, but it happened. It may be good, it may be bad. So for example, thanks to your project, more senior members of the community, senior members being, let's say, 60 plus, 60 years old and over, are now leaving their homes and becoming more socially active citizens. So for example, your project is to deliver a community garden. Young people are going out and they're gardening together, they're having fun, they're doing stuff. Senior members of the community are watching and thinking, actually, I want to do that. And they start getting involved. You didn't expect this to happen, but now you've got young people gardening in the community alongside seniors of the community gardening. It's your gardening project has now also turned into an intergenerational project. You've got young people mixing with old people for social good. So that is an unexpected result. That's actually quite a positive one. It may be, on the other hand, where actually gets a whole load of complaints. It was an unexpected result. It was more of a negative one. You didn't expect people to react in that way. Does that make sense? Yeah. So monitor what's happening in your project, what the differences are. Are things happening that you expected them to happen as you've written down, or are things happening that you didn't expect? Either they're good or they're bad. Okay. So please work. Yes. Okay. So tying it back to the SGN example, this is an unexpected result from the project that this guy was doing and that I explained earlier.
And this week, something extraordinary happened. Joy not only echoed across the globe, it echoed its way right out of this world.
Tonight, we're bringing you some good news from ISS. There is so much good news happening in the space world right now. This year, we will be celebrating 20 years of a continuous human presence on board the International Space Station. We've been up here conducting thousands of experiments that help benefit life back on Earth.
To help with isolation, we break up our workday every single day with exercise, eating, looking out the window, and connecting with our friends and family.
What do you guys think? Should we do a backflip?
Uh-oh,
Oh boy.
not our best showing.
As awesome as it's been to live and work here for so long, it's super good news that Jessica and I will soon return to Earth in just less than a week. And it's going to be great to hug my wife and kids again, though I'm not really looking forward to gravity. All right, one last look at the Earth. This is some good news. The Earth is still beautiful. An Earth in crisis is still an Earth worth returning to.
See you later, SGN.
What just happened? SGN just transmitted from the International Space Station? I'm gonna need a second to catch my breath.
Okay. So that's just a little clip of some good news. And just tying it back to what we've done in the 3 minutes that I've got left. The goal of SGN, or the expected results of SGN, I should say, and the difference that they wanted to make was to link with people in the world that were just getting bombarded with difficult situations. So if I go all the way back, that there's an online community space, people to connect, learn, and share with one another, people voice, and that they are less isolated, that they've got a community here on Earth, they're impacting people here on Earth. But an unexpected result is that they managed to actually get this all the way to outer space, that people were connecting with one another all the way through the International Space Station. So that is something that they didn't plan to do, but it's something that happened thanks to their project. And in this case, it was a really positive result that the astronauts out in space made an impact and contributed. So nobody in the Leadership Academy is expecting you guys to start connecting with the International Space Station, although if you do, I think there's going to be a special prize. So,
Why not? Why not, Matthew? Do not limit the guys.
yeah, I think that would probably be the first, but challenge accepted, hopefully. But you can hopefully understand what we mean by unexpected results as well. And overall, just expected results impact the difference thanks to your project. So have I got any questions? I know we fired through that very quickly, but we're very aware that we want to finish on time. Anything that people want to question, ask, or want to go through again? Okay.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much.